is the morning swim show for Monday, April 30th, 2012. I'm your host, Tiffany Elias, with Jeff Commings, and today joining us is two-time Olympian Julia Wilkinson. Thanks for joining us on the pool deck in beautiful Phoenix, Arizona.
Oh, thanks for having me. It's awesome to be here.
Now, this isn't your first time here training with Canada.
Yeah, we were here last year around the same time of the year, doing a sort of pre-camp before World Championships, and so this is like we like to meet here, swim outside, get all the kinks out of the way, do all the meetings and paperwork that you have to do, and might as well do it here rather than up in cold and rainy Canada.
Yeah, well, luckily we've had some great weather over the past couple days, but why don't you give us your overall impression of Canada's training camp here?
I think the camp has been great so far. Last year, I think they made some mistakes trying to have us do too much at once and a little too much forced team bonding. We did, some scavenger hunts and stuff, and it's hard to balance that sort of stuff when you're actually training really hard at the same time, because it's not like we're in taper right now. We're in pretty hard training, and so it's hard to get motivated to do fun activities when all you really want to do is nap. So this time around, we kind of just had it so that we're training together, we're eating meals together. We had a women's team dinner, and I know the men's team went bowling last night, and I think that that's better because they're kind of just letting us become a team organically rather than just forcing us together. And I think we've seen some really good training so far. I think it's great to put people together who you are used to just seeing each other in races but not in training. And so I'm not training with anyone who's actually in my group in Victoria right now, so I'm training with people that I actually race at trials, and so I think that brings your training up to a higher level for the week, because you don't want to get beaten by someone that you know that you race on a regular basis. And I think it's been a really good experience, both from a training perspective but as well just sort of putting us together as a team and making us feel more like a team before we actually get to staging camp and get to London.
Well, speaking of the training, have any of the athletes here really blown you away by how hard they've been training? Impressive sets and working hard?
I have to say that I noticed Katerine Savard. She's an amazing kicker, and now I understand why her 100 butterfly is so good. And I usually am one of the faster girl kickers. I had shoulder surgery, so I spent a year kicking, so that gives me a leg up on everyone. But she was kicking everybody's butt. She was beating the boys, and I know Blake Worsley, I heard him lean over the lane rope and say, "Kat, you're a really good kicker," because I think he was a little bit, surprised. And so it's cool to see how fast some people can go, in kick or in band pull or just on a best average set, because that helps you raise your level. You're like, oh man, I thought I was good, but she's kicking my butt, so I gotta pick it up a little bit. So that's one person specifically who has stood out to me. Also, I know that the breaststrokers who work with Joseph Nagy, obviously his own breaststrokers, they work pretty hard all the time, and his program's pretty tough. I've had to do it a couple times as an I.M.er, but knowing the I.M.ers like Steph Horner, Alec Page, going in and just swimming his program for the week, that's really, really hard. And I've seen them do it with a smile on their face and be positive and get the most out of it, and that's pretty impressive as well.
What do you think are some of the first impressions of the differences of this 2012 team as opposed to the team that was in 2008?
I think this time around, even the veterans in 2008 were they hadn't swum well in 2004, so they almost felt like their first Olympics wasn't really what a first Olympics should be like. You want to have your first Olympics, get the kinks out, be relaxed for your second Olympics, and really go for that medal. And 2004 didn't go very well for Canada, so I think we had a bunch of rookies going in 2008 who were scared and had no idea what was going on, and then a bunch of veterans who were like, I don't know what happened in 04, and let's just hope it goes better. But this time around, we have veterans who swam well in 08 and had great experiences in 08 and have been doing well for the last 4 years at World Championships, Pan Pacs, Commonwealths. And then at the same time, our rookies are completely different than they were 4 years ago. I was a rookie 4 years ago, and when I made the team, I was like, all right, I'm on the team, and that's my goal for the year, and everything else is just cherry on top. But these rookies have had a much better setup through the junior program, and they aren't complacent. There's no, well, it's my first team, so it's okay if I swim bad, right? They come in and they want to do well, and they want to be the fastest split on the relay. They don't want to just be on the relay. They want to be the fastest one on the relay, and I saw that last year at Worlds with someone like Brittany McLean. And so our rookies are steps ahead than they were 4 years ago, and our veterans are steps ahead, and that obviously as a team that makes us that much better. So I think we're a way stronger team physically, and we're faster, but mentally we're in a way better place than we were 4 years ago.
And you're definitely one of the veterans. Qualified for 3 events at the Olympic trials, 100 free, 100 back, and 200 IM. I understand you're dropping the 200 IM. Why are you doing that?
I decided to drop the 200 IM because there's a conflict, 100 back, 200 IM. The 200 IM semifinal was right before the 100 backstroke final, and last year at Worlds was kind of like my learning, seeing if I could do 2 events in a row. It went horribly. I didn't qualify for the final, the 100 backstroke, and then 9 minutes later went and did the final, the 200 IM, and came like dead last. Like I went 2:16 in the final, and so my coach Randy likes to call it my public flogging at World Championships. So we realized that doing both was not an option, and that if I want to, run for that chance to get on the podium, I have to pick one. I thought it was going to be a really hard decision picking which one to do, especially because 200 IM is the event I used to call like my baby, because I always did it. That was my final at the Olympics, and I've been in the final at Worlds twice, and I won a Commonwealth Games medal in that. But at the same time, I had a great 100 backstroke at Olympic trials, and I can also see where I need to go to get it even better. But my 200 IM was not very good, and it was because of my breaststroke split, and I just didn't understand what went wrong, because I've been working really hard on it, and we don't really know what to do to fix it. And so at this point, looking at the 2 events, 100 back is ranked way better in the world, and I also have way more potential, I feel like, than in the 200 IM. So it was actually a way easier decision than I thought it was going to be. So rather than dipping my toe in the water for as many races as possible, just want to make that one serious run at the podium.
And you are ranked pretty high. That 59 was a really good swim in that 100 back. Obviously, you won a medal.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to get on the podium in that 100 back?
It's going to need to be like 59 low, 59.0 to get on the podium, I would say. It's going to be 58 something to win. I mean, we have some ideas in our head, but it's obviously really hard to predict. You never know what's going to happen. But I definitely know the splits and the tactics I need to have to actually make a run at that podium and actually have a chance and be in the race.
That's a great mentality to go into the games with. Do you think, now you came over and you swam for Texas A&M, and do you think that having that college experience, which a lot of your teammates haven't experienced coming over and swimming in the States, do you think that that's better shaped you for these big competitions?
I think that we always talk about this in Canada because some people go to the NCAA and it's great for them. It was great for me. It was great for Jill Tyler. It's great for Samantha Cheverton. And some people, it just didn't really work out for them. But that would be the case, I guess, if you just pick a school that's not quite right for you. That could be the exact same case for the Americans. For me, it was a great decision. It was the best decision for me. And I definitely think one of the things it's helped me with is relays. And, I'm a way better relay swimmer than I would be if I hadn't ever, gone to Texas A&M, because swimming is an individual sport until you get to the NCAA. And then that is the time you really experience how swimming can actually be a team sport, when you're at conference, when you're at NCs. And I use that when I go into the Olympics. I remember standing on the blocks at World Championships, and it was medley relay, and I was doing freestyle, and we were, kind of far behind because we weren't up there with the Americans and the Aussies. And so I was like, all right, pretend you're beside Kathleen Hersey. Pretend this is conference all over again, and just go with that mentality. Whatever you did then, just do that now. So, because, relays and swimming for your team, that can bring out the best in you, and it usually does. And so I think it's hard to do that on the national team sometimes because you're so used to competing against these people, and then all of a sudden we're like, all right, we're a team now, so everybody love each other and be a team. And so if you can use that sort of mentality that you had in college swimming and transfer that over to swimming on the national team, it's a huge help. So I definitely think that everything I learned at Texas A&M has built my foundation to be a great international swimmer.
Well, I think as a veteran, it would be great for you to be able to send that message over to some of those rookies or people who haven't had that experience. So it's good to have that positive experience on your side so you can help reshape maybe someone who had a less fortunate situation.
Yeah. So I try to always, if people ask me questions about, I'm in high school, what do I do? Where do I go? And I always just say, you got to do, everybody's different. You got to find what's best for you. And for me, I never really had a reason why I went to Texas A&M. People were like, why did you choose A&M? And I was like, because it just felt right. I walked on that campus and I just loved it. And, they took me to a football game, and I'd never seen a football game in my life. So seeing a football game at Kyle Field is pretty crazy if you don't even know what a down is, right? So it's a pretty crazy experience.
Well, speaking of Texas A&M sports, you've also got a lot going on in your personal life as well.
Yes.
And congratulations on an engagement.
Thank you. I'm not wearing my ring right now because I don't wear it in the pool because I don't want to lose it. But yeah, over Christmas I got engaged to my college sweetheart, I guess is what you call him. His name's Shane Minks. He played baseball at A&M. We actually met. It's a pretty funny story. We met in the training room because the year after I had shoulder surgery, and so I was having a pretty rough day, and I went to the training room during practice because I was just kicking and I was miserable, and so I was getting my shoulder looked at, and this cute baseball player sat down on the table beside me, and I was like, I'm bored, I'll strike up a conversation with him. So my pickup line was, hey, shoulders suck, because he was getting his shoulder looked at too. So and the rest is history. Now we're getting married.
Yeah, most people, their first words to their future husband isn't shoulder suck.
Yeah. And I feel like I said shoulders suck but I think he would have I feel like he would have been like, whoa, are you from Canada? But that didn't happen. So I don't think I said A, but I don't know why, because that's normally how I would say that sentence. So
Have you guys set a date?
Yes, we're getting married January 5th, 2013. So it's far enough away from any swim meets that if I decide to keep swimming after the Olympics, which I'm totally up in the air, I don't know what I'm going to do, it can work around it. So
Great.
Well, as we said, you're one of the veterans on the team. Another person who I believe is the oldest female on the team, Audrey Lacroix.
Oh, geez.
Going for her second Olympics 200 flyer. Tiffany got to talk to her, and we're going to take a little look at a clip from that interview.
We are here with Audrey Lacroix. Thanks for joining us. Now, you're one of the veterans on the Canadian swim team. You're the oldest female on the team. So this isn't your first rodeo.
No, I've been to a lot of, I think 5 World Championships, and this is my second Olympics. So it's good because I think we're a good mix, of veteran. There's a couple of guys that are older than me, and some of the girls are over 25. But there's also a young group of swimmers that is coming and really talented, and so I think we can really support each other in different ways, because you can learn so much from a young swimmer too, but at the same time sometimes they lack experience, so they have to look for older swimmer with more experience to guide them through a meet, especially the Olympics.
Well, your experience goes back pretty far. You've got a very interesting background. Now, you just missed out on 2000 and 2004. You finally made that 2008 team, but let's go all the way back to 2000 and explain how you just missed out on that Olympiad.
Yeah, the thing is that in 2000 the Canadian team was actually bringing to the Olympics a relay substitute. So I was one of, I was for the substitute for the butterfly, but at the same time then another girl. So we had to do a swim off at the trials. So that was a lot of pressure for a 16-year-old, being alone in the pool with so many spectators and so much pressure. But I ended up coming second on the swim off. So
you had to do a swim off in 2000, just missed it, and then you came back in 2004. So a bit of an upset, but you're still pretty young. So I mean, your expectations were kind of I'll see what happens.
Yeah, pretty much.
Then in 2004, you came back and you won both of your events, the 100 and the 200 fly.
Yeah. And I in the 200 fly, I just missed the final standard, and the Canadian policy was that to make the team you had to make the final A standard. So it was really frustrating because I was if I was from another country, I could have been there, but I got over it, I guess, and I remember that summer I keep training through all summer, if I was actually making the Olympics, and I went to some meet I think in August, so basically at the same time, and I did pretty well. So I think that helped me go through that, because that was an upset moment, and that was really hard to go through it, but I made it, so.
And you're able to see what you could have done
in
a similar. What an amazing story, Audrey, to come back after so many years. And she said she never stopped training. That is a lot of swimming. but it's really proved off. Two-time Olympian there, Audrey Lacroix. Well, Julia, thanks for joining us. We're very excited for you, not only personally, but to see how you and the rest of your team does in 2012.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and thanks for joining us here at Phoenix. I'm sure you've loved the weather.
Oh, it's so much better than rain in Victoria, British Columbia.
I'm sure it is.
All right, well, this is the Morning Swim Show. I'm Tiffany Elias for Jeff Commings, and we will see you tomorrow.